84 yards, and the Cowboys lead the Redskins. Back with the second half in a moment. We've played a half on Sunday Night Football at Texas Stadium, and the Dallas Cowboys coming alive on offense, leading the Redskins 20-7 at the end of 30 minutes of play. Troy Aikman hot in the first half, and it was the three amigos, Aikman, Irvin, and Smith, who did it again. They came alive tonight. Aikman 10 out of 15, 184 yards in the first half. Michael Irvin with the big pass play of the half against Trent Green, and Emmitt Smith with 2 rushing touchdowns and the NFL record in that department. Brian Mitchell fumbles the opening kickoff of the second half and doesn't get back to the 10. An inauspicious beginning for the Redskins, and Sherman Williams downfield to make the stop.
On this kickoff return, watch Brian Mitchell. The ball, he doesn't concentrate on the ball. He's looking at the hole he's going to run into. You got to get the ball first before you run with it.
And
LaCharles, McDaniel, what else can go wrong tonight?
The thing is you know, everybody talks about coaching this, coaching that. North Turner's under a lot of fire. A coach doesn't drop a ball. A coach doesn't fumble a ball. The players have got to play better.
1st and 10 from the 8. Green, pump fake, wants to go long again. Oh, Shepherd had a chance to catch the ball. What was Kevin Mathis doing?
Well, he was running towards the goal line.
That's about it, too.
Well, I mean, they come out. This is an excellent call. It's a pump and go. North Turner's going to try and come out up deep. He realized they got a lot of field. Kevin Mathis turns around. I believe he just lost the ball. Shepherd, he doesn't look like he's stumbling at all. He has vision of the ball, and it goes right through his hands. That is typical of what the Washington Redskins did the first half of 1998.
And Shepherd is about as reliable as they have in the receiver department. Mathis had 2 steps on his man, but just kept going. He really got a break on that play. And now the Redskins have to burn a timeout. And this looks like the Redskins of the first 7 games and not the last 8. Let's check in with our colleague Solomon Wilcott. Solomon.
Thanks, Mike. At halftime, I talked to Redskin head coach North Turner. And, you know, before the game, he thought that his team would be able to run the ball on the Dallas Cowboy defense. He said that he still believes they can run the ball here in the second half. They have to remain patient. He says that the 2 first-half turnovers were very costly to his team. He said what he want to do, he wants to remain patient, believe they can make some big plays, they can run the ball, and get back into this football game. Right now, they're down by 13 points. He believes that they can come back and win this football game. Mike?
And Solomon, they did run the ball very well, specifically in that one stretch with Stephen Davis when he got the ball about 4 out of 5 plays. He ran very well.
Yeah, Mike, I mean, you know, you can't throw a 50-yard pass, have it hit the receiver perfectly in the hands, and have him drop it. You know, North Turner's been under an awful lot of criticism. He is one of the names that is mentioned as far as losing his job. I don't think he should lose his job. I think he's done a terrific job holding this football team together, and given the chance, I think he can get some playmakers on the field.
Based on what they've done in the second half of the season, I think most people would agree with you. This team has really responded to him. And Stephen Davis plows across the 10. We'll take a look at the first half numbers. The difference is in the turnovers. Dallas has racked up 282 total yards to 218, but the Redskins have turned it over twice. That is the big difference. Washington actually led in time of possession.
Isn't that amazing? 3rd down conversions, 0 for 4 for Dallas.
Well, and that's been their problem, but they've made up the difference in big plays. You can't convert on 3rd down. You better get 30 and 40-yard completion.
Well, the fact that they only had 4 third downs, they were hitting on 1st and 2nd. Green, another pump and go. Into double coverage, picked off, and now ruled out of bounds. Caught by George Teague, but he didn't get his feet down.
What happens on this play is George Teague reads Trent Green all the way. When Trent Green pumps to the right, George Teague just breaks on it. Trent does nothing to hold him in the middle of the football field. If you just make the pump move in the middle, see him look out? He's pumping out there. George Teague is broken already, and he's already collapsed on the sideline and can't quite get both feet down.
The assistant coaches were telling the official to look up at the jumbotron and watch the replay. They were arguing it was an interception. Hughes back for the kick. Poor kick by Turk. There is a marker down. It takes a good Washington bounce down near the 40. There's a marker down back at the Redskin 35-yard line after a punt of 49. Great bounce for Turk. And now we'll check the marker. And a hold against the Cowboys. That happens so frequently with the Gunners running downfield on the outstretched part of the defense. If you can't block him, you got to hold him.
Or maul him. They do that too.
Holding on the return team during the kick. 10 yards. First down.
Timeout on the field. The Cowboys continue to lead 20-7.
The NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of the telecast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
The Big Three did their job tonight, and it looks like their night is done. That's a pretty good half of work for those three guys.
I think so.
And they seem primed for next Saturday's playoff game.
Well, they wanted to play and get this offense straightened out, and they've done that.
You know, the thing about Michael Irvin, too, is he has been so unselfish with us. He was cast doing a new role in this offense. Caught a lot of balls, but only had one touchdown.
Jason Garrett, the new quarterback. Sherman Williams is in at running back. Garrett, who has had a good season when Aikman was hurt, throws to Bjornsson, and Eric Bjornsson to the Redskin 47-yard line, first down. Gain of 26.
Makes you stop and think, okay, the Cowboys have taken their big three out. Now they've put in some other players, and nothing has changed. You'd think now that maybe there's some problem on that Redskin defense. Jason Garrett goes back, does a nice job of putting the ball, as we talk about, air underneath it, over Patton for the reception.
All right, let's look. We talked about Larry Allen in the first quarter and the second quarter. Now look at him in the third quarter. He's still in there. The offensive line is still intact. He gets his job done.
Patrick Jeffers will get a lot of work here in the second half. He's number 81. Williams hit in the backfield. Mark Boutte came through and got him first, couldn't hold him.
There were three Redskins in the backfield. I mean, nobody blocked in the middle of the line.
And it's still
Well,
gets
Williams,
back to the line of scrimmage.
I mean, he really gets back to the line of scrimmage. Dan Wilkinson and Mark Boutte, 93 and 95. Watch these guys. They're in the backfield. They're waiting. Marcus Patton, the linebacker, he's back there. And none of them make the tackle.
Garrett, the Redskins blitz. They pick it up. Darrell Green nearly had another interception in front of Billy Davis.
Jason Garrett does not have the arm of a Troy Aikman, nor will he have, I think, the rhythm in throwing the ball. That'll give Darrell Green an advantage if they try and throw the ball outside. This time he decides to take an outside technique, looks back when Billy Davis breaks down, Darrell breaks on the ball, and we talked about Darrell's inability to catch the pass. This one certainly should have been intercepted. Watch this. It is going to hit him right in the midst, and he knocks it down.
What a wonderful thing to have great speed. You know that?
Oh, great closing ability, too.
How about at 38? Garrett waits patiently in the pocket, throws, and that one's out of bounds. That was intended for Jeff Ogden. Tim Denton on the cover. 5 games in relief of Troy Aikman when he was injured. 3-2 as a starter. Talk about a football family. His dad, Jim, is a scout with Dallas. His brother, John, is the Bengals receivers coach. His brother, Judd, is the tight end coach for the Saints.
8 kids in the family. Every first name starts with a J. They got stuck in the dictionary, and that's where it stayed.
You start running short, don't you? Mitchell is back to take the punt. Waits at his 10. Good high kick by Goen. Mitchell lets it bounce. They'll down it at the 5-yard line. Darren Hambrick was there to grab it and down it after a punt of 39. Most of the Cowboys starters are out. No difference so far. 20-7 Dallas. ESPN Sunday Night Football is brought to you by 989 Studios, the new leader in sports video games. By Rolaids. Rolaids, R-O-L-A-I-D-S, spells relief. By Visa, the preferred card of the NFL. It's everywhere you want to be. And by Pennzoil, specially formulated for today's stop-and-go driving. Stop, go, Pennzoil. Skyline of Big D. We are in Irving at Texas Stadium. Cowboys trying to get on a roll going into the playoffs. They're up 20-7. Stephen Davis stumbles and just gets back to the line of scrimmage. Greg Ellis covered him up. The Washington Redskins are being sold by Jack Kent Cooke's trust. That's his son, John, who is the Redskins president. A lot of published media reports say that 4 bids are the leaders, but John Kent Cooke says he is confident that he will be able to retain the team. He will get 10% of the proceeds from that trust. Plus, he's got some backers behind him as well. Connell on the slant. Breaks a couple of tackles, 26-yard line, and a first down.
Now let me tell you something. I'll tell you what happened. The official threw the flag on Albert Connell because he spiked the ball. The only reason he spiked the ball was because he hurt his knee and he was disappointed. That's an official that isn't really involved in what's going on in the game. That's a bad flag right there.
Well, maybe they'll pick it up.
He should. Absolutely should. That was a spiking of the ball in disgust at being hurt. He does a nice job of working inside against Kevin Smith. He's backing off. As he crosses the middle, he gets tangled up right there as he tries to make a break and gets his knee stuck, and then they land right on top of it. That is the only, and then he'll spike the ball. Watch this. He's spiking the ball. He doesn't throw it at Kevin Mathis for any reason. He throws it at him only because of his knee.
Well, the only thing that they see, the only thing they see is that him throwing the ball and hitting another player with it. And it's making a difference why he did it, Joe. He just did it.
He didn't throw it at him, though. I mean, he wasn't purposely, maliciously throwing the ball. He wasn't trying to taunt anybody.
I understand it. But the rule states. I know that rule.
That's the problem. You know something? This is the problem I have. The officials live too much by the written rule, okay? I think that you have to look into the rules and be a part of the game of football and see what's going on. You know, sometimes the written rule, I think, is interpreted a little bit too harshly as we see it today.
And now they're going to come and talk to Norv Turner on the sideline because he's having the same contention that you are, and you could see that Connell's leg was bent under him. It's a question of whether the official believes that he was actually trying to throw the ball at another player or he was doing it because he was injured.
And the official's going to say, the rule is, and baloney. It's just baloney. It really is. I don't care what explanation Walt wants to try and give Norv. See, this is where I think the officials are a part of the game of football and have to be a part of what's going on.
Well, their judgment is certainly a part of the game, and that's some place that if they did go along with your thinking, they could exercise their judgment.
They won't.
Well, but you got a guy sitting on the ground, Joe, and he sits up and then throws the ball and hits the opposite player in the back with the ball. And that's what they go by. I mean, they don't know why. They don't care why he did it.
I understand that.
They don't care.
I'm just saying, that's the problem. I think you have to care and you have to understand a little bit more about what's going on in the game.
One of the great receivers of all time has just checked into the ball game. 16-year veteran Henry Ellard. The last game of his career, number 3 all-time in yards, number 6 all-time in catches, finishing out his career with the Redskins. And the strike to Henry Ellard at the 32.
I talked to Henry before the game. I says, is this going to be one of those things where you go back to coaching? And he told the kids he's going to go back and coach again, and you'll come back. He said, nope, this is it for me. Look at him set up the route. Moves inside, slides in the hole. Hasn't got his feet really set yet.
The coaches say he only runs 3 patterns, and they still can't cover.
And only has.
Well, he knows how to get open.
And he knows how to catch the football. He's been a great player for a long time. Spent a couple of games with New England before he was released. Green in trouble, and they got him back at the 20. Half of the Dallas defense came through. Michael Myers and Randall Godfrey on top of it.
Well, Trent Green has got to be able to read this. He gets some help. Stephen Davis, 48, steps up and makes an excellent block, but they just sent too many people. And he's got to be able to read this and get rid of the ball. Watch Stephen Davis, number 48. Excellent block. Boom, there on Coakley, but there's just too many people.
You read safeties, though, Paul, as a quarterback. Linebackers should be picked up by linemen and backs. Safeties are the ones you have to throw hot off of.
Green, Shepherd dropped the ball. Picked up by the Dallas Cowboys. Randall Godfrey, who had an interception earlier, has a fumble recovery here. Kevin Smith knocked it loose from Shepherd.
Wait a minute. Don't get
Was
ahead
it
of
a
it.
catch?
Yeah, don't get ahead of it, buddy.
Redskins will argue that it was not.
Oh, here we go. We'll have it. There it is.
That's a catch.
Oh, yeah, it's a catch. The ball gets knocked out.
Now remember what constitutes a catch.
We have talked to the officials about this. Both feet down with possession, and he was turning to make a move. That's a catch.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's no question. He's up. He's down. Watch, both feet are on the ground. He's got it tucked away, getting ready to run.
This is a catch.
This is a lousy job of officiating. Really a loud. Both coaches. Chan Gailey can't believe it. North Turner couldn't believe it before.
3rd down and 21 after the, quote, incompletion, unquote. Another blitz. Everybody coming. Green got it to Mitchell. Nothing there. Dallas is just swarming the Redskin offense.
I mean, there's only so far that you can retreat.
I go to Fort Worth.
He was closing in on
Well,
it.
there's a tunnel at the end of this building, but look at Trent Green, and he gets back, and then he gets his ball to Mitchell. Mitchell's upset because of the shot at the end.
That's an unbelievable throw for Trent Green to get that ball on the screen.
I told you, quarterback's eyes. He's just finding people.
Tyrone Hughes will wait on the punt from Turk. Beautiful kick this time. Hughes driven back to the 29. And takes it back to the 37-yard line. Brian Mitchell down on special teams for the Skins. First man to get a piece, an 8-yard return after a 49-yard punt from Turk. The Cowboys playing with a lot of emotion tonight, and they have the lead on the Redskins here in Irving, Texas. These overhead shots provided by the Southwest Airlines Aerial Cam high above Texas Stadium for ESPN's Sunday Night Football. They ever going to finish the rest of that roof?
I wish they would. I spent a lot of time looking at it. I've been waiting for him to finish.
Well, at least you didn't spend a lot of time looking at that. Williams straight up the middle, gets to the 44-yard line. Start your New Year's Eve off right. 1 p.m. Eastern, College Bowl game day. Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, Lee Corso. They'll preview all the day's games. Then at 1:30, the AXA Equitable Liberty Bowl with BYU against number 10 Tulane. Then at 5, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, number 19 Georgia against Virginia. And at 8:30, the Sanford Independence Bowl, Mississippi and Texas Tech.
There is still a Rose Bowl in there.
Yes.
Okay, just check. Every bowl has a name on it. Still a Rose Bowl.
By now, it might be the .com something Rose Bowl. We don't know. Kennard Lang, the injured Redskin, will check on his condition when we come back.
Of record set.
Cowboys on top, 20-7. Boy, they've really brought out the paint jobs tonight.
That's Belly Boy's brother.
Then again,
we've gone from one extreme to the other.
Yes, we have. 8:34 and counting, third quarter. Williams cuts it outside, dragged down by Derek Smith, got him around the ankles, about a yard shy of that gold ESPN 1st and 10 line. The Redskins haven't been able to stop the run, it seems, in 5 or 6 years. Not only haven't they stopped it, sometimes they have played defense like a sieve. And in 93 and 94, there were only 28 teams, so they were right at the bottom. Then they go to 30. They're 29th, last 28th, and 28th.
And that was supposed to be the area that the two tackles were supposed to help out.
Williams dives and very close to a first down.
When they signed Dana Stubblefield and Big Daddy Dan Wilkinson, they felt that they had shored up the middle of Mike Nolan's defense and that they would be better against the run. Stubblefield really came in out of shape and unused to this defense. It's taken Dan Wilkinson, who's played better, to really get comfortable in his new role in this defense. And consequently, the results have not been a very positive ones for this defense.
Well, the one thing about this defense is that there's only like one guy makes a play. They're not putting it all together. I mean, you don't have like gang tackling, Joe. You don't have 4 or 5 guys making things happen. You always have one guy, and that's it.
And you see no penetration. Very seldom do you see this defense play on the other side of the line of scrimmage. Offensive lines just continue to own them.
Well, that was the major criticism you'd hear from other coaches, saying, why aren't they playing an attacking style with those guys, their linebackers and their secondary? But they were very passive. Kennard Lang shaken up, back in the game, 1st and 10. Garrett throws to the sideline, complete to Patrick Jeffers, who grew up in the Dallas area dreaming of being a member of the Dallas Cowboys. They got him in a trade just before the season started. He worked on the scout team. He was terrific as a practice player, finally got a chance to play, and he's come up big.
And, you know, he was on the practice squad with the Denver Broncos, so you know that it was good. Uh-oh. Now, I've seen too many of these. Get him. We could get him just once. Don't be nice to him.
Nobody ever wins in that argument.
I know. They've been going at it for years.
Garrett under pressure. Kennard Lang has him, along with Dan Wilkinson.
You know, I was looking at Boutte and Dan Wilkinson on this play, and they're in the middle of the line. And if you take a look, there really isn't much penetration. What happens is Garrett doesn't get back. Watch this. Now, here are the two guys at the line of scrimmage. They're basically at the line of scrimmage now. And Garrett steps up inside, and Kennard Lang is the guy that makes the play.
When you have smallish defensive ends like Duff and Lang are, you've got to get a push up the middle so that you can run the quarterback out to the quicker ends. They haven't been able to do it.
The defensive ends have been a major problem, too, especially when Lang and Kinney were starting. They were so small. Jeff Ogden is in as a wide receiver for Dallas. Garrett under pressure this time. And they've got him back at the 40-yard line.
That time, Dan Wilkinson did the job. He was the guy that's responsible for this. Now, Duff and those guys make the tackle afterwards, but Dan Wilkinson is the guy that really puts the pressure. He comes up the middle. Watch 95. Inside, he's double-teamed. He breaks the double-team and forces Jason Garrett out to the outside, right into the tackle. That's good defense.
The tackle made by Ndikwe Kalu from the University of Rice. Mitchell waits back at the 15. Fair catch at the 14-yard line. 5:37 to go, third quarter. A 45-yard punt and a beauty by Toby Goen. No return by Brian Mitchell. 20-7, Dallas. We will be back here next Saturday at 4 o'clock, and we'll be on ABC for the Cardinals and the Cowboys. Our playoff game in the NFC wildcard matchup. The Cowboys have swept the season series. Emmitt Smith over 100 in both games. The Cowboys have won 16 of the last 17 regular season meetings. But I tell you right now, the way the Cardinals are playing, that's a very dangerous matchup.
Well, we saw Jake the Snake against Philadelphia, and that was the last time. And I can't wait to see this guy. This guy is exciting.
Well, I don't think that the Arizona Cardinals can wait until the last 16 seconds or the last minute or the last 50 seconds to be able to win a football game. I think they're going to have to play better if they want to try and beat this Cowboy football team. They can't come in here and think that they can win everything at the end.
The great sign for the Dallas Cowboys is the way they have played tonight in a game with realistically nothing on the line. They could not improve their playoff position. They already had the playoff game at home. They wanted to rest some of their starters. Most of the starters played the first half just into the third quarter, and they have played very, very well. Will Dion be able to play? It is doubtful. He would make such a difference if he could. 2nd and 7 for the Redskins. Green to Ellard. Henry Ellard with a first down at the 27. ABC's Wild Card Weekend begins next Saturday at noon Eastern. First, you'll see Buffalo at Miami. Dan Marino against Doug Flutie. Follow it at 4. We'll be right here. Arizona against the Dallas Cowboys, who are going for their 10th win of the year. They'll be here too. Comes the blitz. Green rolls away from trouble. Throws on the run, too high. Sellers got a hand on it, but couldn't bring it down.
You know, we talked about Dallas being able to rest some of their offensive players, their key players. Right now, they're resting their defensive line, which they really need to do. And they've got their backup people in there. And they're still doing the job.
Right, and the thing that Trent Green is going to have to learn, on 1st and 10, you've got to say to yourself, I don't have a play. Let me just throw it away and come back. That was a bit of a risky pass, trying to force the ball in.
The Redskins really haven't done much offensively since that one drive earlier in the ball game that netted them 7 points. Davis. And it'll be 3rd and long as Dexter Copley leads the charge, along with George T. Emmitt got the record tonight, and it really thrilled this sellout crowd.
And it thrilled him, too. When we had a chance to visit with him, he was saying that this is really the healthiest he's been. He got excited about this year. He wanted to go to the Pro Bowl. And really, up until about 3 weeks ago, he had a real good, legitimate shot at it. And then their offense went in the tank. But they really have come out and played better tonight.
You know, he was awfully quiet yesterday, Joe. I mean, it wasn't like Emmitt, and, you know, he was really concerned about this offense, and obviously they've done well.
Brian Mitchell is in on 3rd and 6. Green throws underneath. The catch made, but short of the first down up at the 36-yard line. Chris Thomas with the catch, but did not get the first down yardage.
Now you can ask the question, why don't you go and get the distance? And I'll say to you, that is wrong. He should have gotten it.
Wait a minute.
Ask a question.
Okay. Why didn't he go and get the distance?
Well, Paul, because he pulled up short.
I'm glad he...
That was as well orchestrated as I've ever heard a question and answer session.
Yeah.
That was inexcusable there.
Matt Turk to kick to Tyrone. He has just got it out of there sky high. Good thing there's a hole in the roof. Fair catch made it to 25 after a 39-yard punt. Emmitt Smith set the record for career rushing touchdowns in the first half. Got his 124th, eclipsing Marcus Allen's record. Then went on to get his 125th, and the souvenir goes in the box. He's got them all. He wants to auction them off to raise money for charity. That's his current plan.
Actually, it actually is 125. He's gotten 2 tonight. We just wanted to show you the record-breaking number.
Jason Garrett at quarterback as Aikman's night is done. Wants the screen. Williams got it out to the 33. That play didn't look like much and still gained 7 yards.
One thing about the Dallas Cowboys in this particular year, offensively, they've gone through a lot of different changes. A philosophy change because Chan Gailey is there as the offensive coordinator as well as the head coach. And I think you're going to see a lot more efficiency out of this offense. Ernie Mills will come back next year and be a compliment. Billy Davis will have had some playing time as well as Patrick Jeffries.
Really, it's not easy to implement a new offense, even with veteran offensive personnel. Williams cuts it outside, picks up maybe a yard.
You know, Mike, you make a great point. It's actually more difficult with veteran personnel because especially the Cowboys that have been set in their ways for so long. This is the first time they've really had to make a change. In particular, Michael Irvin. He's averaged 6 touchdowns a year. Although he has 70-plus catches, he still only has 1 touchdown. His role has changed. He's become now a receiver that has to clear out so that other guys can make catches. In the past, they would design the routes to go to Michael to get the big plays.
3rd and a yard. Williams straight up the middle, first down and more. First down, Cowboys at their own 39. Patton and Richard on the stop.
We talked about everybody else blocking. Larry Allen. Flozell Adams, number 76 on Big Daddy. Dan Wilkinson, number 92. I mean, that's just outstanding blocking.
No, it's grabbing.
Well, it's, yeah. No, it's not grabbing if you don't get caught.
That's true. I stand corrected.
Okay. Flozell Hotel.
Williams again, and the Redskins that time crashed in. Derek Smith, number 50, came in hard from his linebacker position.
I know it may not be a departure, or it might be a departure for the Redskins, but I really believe that they've got to start committing 6 and 7 men to the line of scrimmage to try and put pressure on the running game and Jason Garrett.
Big Daddy Wilkinson. Now watch him. He's going to take a side. You see him take a side. When he takes a side, he gets penetration and enables Derek Smith to make the play. But if that play goes a little bit wider, it really doesn't do that much good. You've got to take the man on in the hole.
And he takes himself out of the play.
Exactly.
Jason Garrett to throw. Dropped by Jeffers. Guy with great hands who played at Virginia and caught just about everything thrown his way, but not that time. End of the 3rd quarter here in Dallas. The Cowboys continue to hold on to a 13-point lead. Cowboys leading 20-7 with 15 minutes to go from Texas Stadium. 2 weeks ago, the playoff picture was harder to figure out than sending a manned mission to Mars. Now it's settled. Buffalo at Miami on Saturday in the AFC. The Sunday game will be New England at Jacksonville, and the NFC will be right here on ABC with Arizona against Dallas, and then Sunday in the NFC, Green Bay at San Francisco. That familiar playoff matchup.
And both of those teams are going to have to play better if they want to advance. A lot of teams coming into the playoffs having questions about whether they will be able to hold up and go on.
Minnesota's not one of them. Garrett throws for Ogden. Flag down. That's going to be interference called on Tim Denton, the first-year player out of Sam Houston State.
You know, there is a situation when you have another defensive back like Stanley Richard or whoever's back there with you to tell the corner to turn and look, the ball is in the air. I mean, that's where you have to have communication.
Pass interference, 25 defense. First down.
Here's Denton out there. The ball is in the air, and he just turns back in and bumps the receiver.
Part of the problem when you yell at somebody like that is which way do you turn? You know, if you yell at a guy, turn.
Right.
Oh, well,
Not the other way.
Turn right.
Obviously, he turned right into him.
26-yard penalty in effect. That takes it to the 30. Jamal Duff was the injured Redskin. And Kelvin Kinney, number 97, checks in at defensive end. Williams hitting the backfield. Wilkinson again got through, got one hand on him, and just hung on. If you're looking for a comeback, the Redskins losing on the road after 3 quarters have lost 26 in a row. The Cowboys winning at home after 3 quarters have won 26 straight. We now return you to your regular program.
This just in.
Garrett for Davis. Darrell Green knocked it away and nearly had another pick. He's had shots at 3 tonight.
You know, look at him laughing, and he's saying to himself, here's another one I could have had, except I had my hands on backwards. Darrell Green, watch on Davis here. He just times this perfectly. Now the ball's hung up in the air, and watch this. Well, look at the timing. He's there and almost makes the play. That's perfect.
Well, you'll see him try and tip it back to himself the way Deion Sanders does so well. Darrell's unable to keep his balance, and he can't quite hang on to it.
He's only 5'8", but he's got some serious hops, and he's got even more serious speed. 3rd and long for Dallas. Garrett airs another one out. Denton, another interference call. If Denton does not turn around, he's going to get one of those every time.
I love that call offensively by Changeli. If you find yourself a pigeon who can't play the ball, you keep throwing it deep all day long. And Denton's going to sooner or later have to turn around and try and make a play on the ball.
Number 25 of the defense. The interference occurred in the end zone. The ball will be placed at the 1-yard line. 1st down.
You know, there's just no question of where they were going to go with the ball.
None.
Jason Garrett just sees Denton out there. He's going to throw the ball up in the air. I mean, you've got to turn and look at the ball, and you got to know where you are on the field.
On this drive alone, Denton has been flagged twice for pass interference, and it's cost the Redskins 64 yards.
Ogden did a good job there of trying to make a play on the ball as well, which helps the call.
Williams didn't make it, cut down just at the 1-yard line. Mark Boutte was in his way along with Derek Smith. That's a tough series for Denton. 2 huge interference calls.
You know, the thing about it is, when you talked to Redskins yesterday, they were very confident about their football team. And just remember something. They've got their starters who are still in the ball game. And the Dallas Cowboys are doing with backup people.
Fans are not booing. They want Moose Johnston to carry the ball and get the touchdown.
Okay, give it to him.
Williams, and they'll whistle the play dead. Moose Johnston, speaking of him, has just made a tremendous
Prior
return.
to the snap, false start, 79 to the offense. 5 yards, still 2nd down.
That's Eric Williams, the right tackle. Darrell Johnson, a lot of people thought his career was over. He had to have the vertebrae in his neck fused last year, and everybody around him tried to talk him out of playing. It was amazing. He said, I signed a contract. What I sign, I honor. I'm coming back.
He is one of the guys who is, you can call him stand-up guys. You can call him a character guy. He's the guy that you build a foundation of a football team around, and that's what they did here.
2nd and goal now from the 6. Garrett can't find anybody. Boutte hits him as he throws. Finally got rid of it and threw it away.
You know, if you're wondering why the Dallas Cowboys offensive line, they're still in the game intact, because they really don't have anybody else to put in.
That's the biggest part of it. But this is an excellent job by the Redskins secondary this time. Jeffries runs across. Darrell Green is in a zone. He's just waiting back to make a play on the ball. Pounds is on Billy Davis. He's right in his hip pocket. Nowhere to go. Billy's saying, hey, throw it here. Clap it. That's a good job by the secondary.
It's amazing. Receivers always think they're open.
Oh, yeah. They're clapping. They're waving. They're doing everything.
3rd and goal. Shovel pass to Williams. They'll lose a couple of yards on that one. The Redskins with a big goal line stand. And Chan Gailey will send on the field goal unit. That's the kind of thing that will bother a coach, even with backup players in there. When you get an opportunity 1st and goal at the 1, you're supposed to score.
Especially when you have your starting offensive line in there.
And it's interesting. Chan Gailey really doesn't care who has been here in the past doing things. He doesn't care that Michael Irvin hasn't caught more than one. He doesn't care whether Moose Johnson gets a touchdown. He just wants to win a football game. And like he told us, he ultimately wants to win the Super Bowl.
Cunningham with the field goal. The Cowboys extend their lead to 23-7. Cunningham has hit 3 out of 4 tonight. Back to Texas Stadium after this. ESPN Sunday Night Football is brought to you by Excite. Excite.com, where you go when you go online. By Heineken, brewed true since 1886. Heineken by Isuzu. We don't make cars because life is too big for cars. And by 10-10-220. Talk up to 20 minutes for only 99 cents. That drive was 69 yards. 65 came on interference calls. Santa must be lost. Mitchell from the 30, or from the 5, check. And stopped at the 14.
Deion Sanders is so important to this Dallas Cowboy team. We talked about special teams, but here on our ESPN pre-play, I'm going to show you what he means on the defensive side of the ball. Deion can basically take one half of the football field and cover one individual. That allows you to use all 10 other people in different places. You can get Woodson up around the line of scrimmage and run support. You can get Teague over to double on the wide receiver. You create a double on the wide receiver, a double on the tight end, and Deion will take anybody else one-on-one.
The Redskins have had terrible field position in the second half from their own 9, their own 7, and twice the 15. And this play will be whistled dead. Deion Sanders, Joe and Paul, elicits the same response. We'll get the referee's
Prior to
call.
the snap, false start, 69, offense, 5 yards, still 1st down.
You ask offensive players about Deion Sanders, defensive players about Barry Sanders, you get the same response. Their eyes get big, and they just start to giggle.
The one thing about Deion is his reputation precedes him to a large degree. People stay away from him just because they know you can throw the ball 8 times at him. You may get 3 completions. You may get 4 balls knocked down, but 1 he may take back. He did it against Jake Plummer in one of the Arizona games.
Skins backed up to their 10. Trent Green to Stephen Davis, who barely got his head around to make that catch, and then it didn't make any difference. Dexter Coakley with that 4.4 speed out to bring him down.
Let's just say one other thing about Deion, though. I mean, of all the places that he affects, because he does do some things on offense, not a real big part of the offense. But when you take him out of special teams, I mean, it affects probably 4 to 5 people.
And look at the special teams. He has a 15-6 average on punt returns, 2 of them for touchdowns. This was going to be, I think, an extremely special year for him in numbers, in yards, and in his performance.
Voted to the Pro Bowl as the starting corner and also the kick returner for the NFC. Green throws back over the middle. Shepherd went outside. Green threw inside. Trent Green, who had played so well the last 8 weeks, he had just been on fire with 15 touchdown passes and only 3 interceptions. They have throttled him tonight. He's only thrown for 209 yards.
Mike, by missing the bomb coming out the beginning of the second half, Leslie Shepherd just let the ball fall through his hands. It takes an awful lot of air out of the balloon of an offense. You only have about 3 or 4 plays, maybe 2, in a game where you count on big plays. If one is there and a guy drops it, it sets you back.
Well, that one was at least 50 yards if Leslie Shepherd makes the catch. The Redskins have called a timeout with 11:01 to go in the ball game. We'll be back to Texas Stadium in a moment. These overhead shots provided by the Southwest Airlines Aerial Cam high above Texas Stadium for ESPN Sunday Night Football.
I can't believe this is our last one.
Yes,
on
it is.
ESPN. It's unbelievable. What a great season. What fun it's been working with you guys. Really? It's been great.
Green under pressure. Got away. Fighting for yardage. Trying to get outside. Got to the 22-yard line.
You know what? This guy reminds me. He really does. We looked at film the other day. He reminds me a lot of you, Joe.
How?
Well, he's not very tall.
Thank
and he
you.
takes those little short, choppy steps,
Right.
and he throws into double coverage.
That was meant as a shot at Joe, not at Trent Green. We think Trent Green has a tremendous future.
Yes, he does. He is the guy.
And I had a lousy pass.
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
He had a great
Only
career.
teasing you. The end of the year.
I don't know why you're still not playing. Hughes trying to get to the wall. Can't make it. Cut down at the 36. Derek Smith on coverage for the Skins. 7-yard return after a punt of 48. Back with Dallas and Washington after this. Jim Jeffcoat, one of the great names in Dallas Cowboy history. One game, sacked Joe Theismann 5 times.
What is going on here?
I didn't even know that was coming.
Ironically, that was the game before
That was my
Joe's
birthday.
career was ended.
Yeah, that was the one just before it, but also here in Texas Stadium. September 9th, 1985 would have to be the lowest point, one of the lowest points of my career. Getting hurt would be. I sat on this bench in a game similar to this one. We were getting beat, and everybody here sang happy birthday to me in this stadium. And I hope they all get pulled in their socks.
Williams across the 40 to the 41.
Oh, we're not done. Oh, how wonderful. Look
Here's a look at Joe.
See those short little, ouch.
One.
Randy White.
Oh, two.
That's
Boy,
good.
they took some shots at you.
Is this a complete? No, it's
No.
not. Everson Walls.
This one is.
Hey, well, thank you very much. And that's our fun bunch. That was a very special group of guys I had a chance to play with. It was old school.
And you had great hair in those days.
You don't know how many thrills you gave the people in Washington. So many times you won so many big games. We have ragged on you all season long. Well, it's the rhetorical league. Paul has. Let me echo what you guys said. This has been our first full year on ESPN. Joe and I had worked together for a dozen years. Paul joined us this year. It's been an absolute delight to have you with us. And I've never had more fun in my career than working with you two guys this year. It's been great.
I agree. I echo those sentiments completely. Paulie has added an awful lot, and we really enjoy having you around.
Well, I'm just glad to have you
Next
guys
year, I
around.
wonder who we're going to get.
I wonder who you get next year. They're going to.
I don't know. I think you've done a pretty good. I think you've done a pretty good job.
I've enjoyed it, gentlemen. Thank you.
That's all.
9:05 to go in this one. Dallas trying to salt it away. Garrett out in the flat. Williams gets a block downfield and has a first down all the way to the Redskins 39-yard line.
I just don't understand at this point why the Redskins aren't just lining 7 people up and going after Jason Garrett. You're going to run into him as far as running goes. I mean, if the guy's trying to run the ball, you're going to run into him. And certainly you're going to have a chance at maybe getting to Jason Garrett.
So the one thing that I think is really disappointing about the Redskins in this second half, and they had a chance on the first play, Joe, to maybe get a touchdown. They've had 4 possessions, 64 yards, 2 first downs this half, and 11 of those 64 yards was a scramble by Green.
It has not been the Redskins' finest hour after winning 6 of the last 8 games. Williams again plunging forward to the 35-yard line. 8:14 to go.
Wait a minute. I'm going to get taller.
You can't.
Well, I'm going to get taller.
Sit down. Relax. Enjoy it.
Okay, I am enjoying it.
It's been a lot of fun.
I have to say this. I've really enjoyed this year. I have. I mean, the guys we work with, everybody here, everybody around us.
Come on, doing good. Keep going. You're doing well.
More complimentary.
Here, let me turn the page. The other stuff I wrote. Go ahead.
You are a sick man.
Williams into traffic. The people that you don't see are the people who support us so strongly. Our producer, Fred Godelli, our director, Mark Payton. They are the best. John Aronoff, our spotter up here in the booth. Mark Fredrickson, who I have worked with forever, our statistician.
Our camera crew. Everybody out there that works in all kinds of weather, all kinds of temperatures.
Our replay producer, Phil Dean. Our associate producers, Mark Teitelman, Jonathan Lebovich, Jim Zeroli. Production assistants, Chris Clark, David Schwinger. Our associate director, Steve Turnberger. Alex Stern in research. Mark Fredrickson, as I said, our statistician. Our spotters, John Aronoff, Andy Clark, and Frazier Maxwell. Technical managers, Jeff Willis, Doug Dodson, Mike Armada. Our operation producers, Paul DePietro and Tom Giannakis. These guys work so hard, and we ask so much of them. It is a delight to be able to mention their names on television.
And Big Daddy makes a big play.
Yeah, Dan Wilkinson has continued to play hard. And when Dana Stubblefield comes back next year along with Dan Wilkinson, they will have had the time to spend together. Possibly it'll be in a new system, a new situation. Who knows? But they will have at least gotten to know one another in this year, which I think is very important.
And they will certainly be expected to produce more than they have this year, especially with all the money they're being paid. Garrett on 4th and 7 over the middle, and Davis had it and dropped it. Billy Davis on a strike from Jason Garrett, couldn't hold it.
You know, the bad part about this is the quarterback, Jason Garrett, stands up in the pocket, makes the throw, and then gets nailed, and you drop the football.
6:16 to go in the ball game. Dallas in control. There is Gus Frerotte, the Redskins' former starting quarterback. This might be the last night of his career wearing burgundy and gold. He is asked to be traded if he's not going to be the starter. And based on what Trent Green has done this year, you would have to think Trent Green will go into camp as the starter for the Redskins. Throws too high this time for his tight end, Steven Alexander.
You know, back to Gus Frerotte. He's got 2 years left on his contract. I think that he and a guy like Scott Mitchell, both of them will probably wind up wearing different uniforms, and it'll be good for them. Gus Frerotte has really been cast into a situation with the Redskins where he's had to learn on the run. Trent Green, as we talked about, had the good fortune to sit and watch and learn, like we saw Brett Favre do, like we've seen different quarterbacks, like Tennessee did with Steve McNair. Sit him for a while, and he's had to come in and play.
And Trent Green is very grateful for the time that he has had to learn as a quarterback. Well, Thomas makes this catch up to the 48-yard line. And quarterbacks are in such demand that even if you have failed somewhere else, the way Frerotte has this year, the way Scott Mitchell has, you're going to be in demand somewhere else.
Well, the other thing, too, is Norv Turner told us about Trent Green. He said, if he's here, Norv Turner's here, this is his quarterback.
I mean, he should
simple.
be. You look at the numbers he's put up, the performance up until tonight in the last 8 games, he's earned that right. But you're absolutely right, Mike. I think both Scott Mitchell and Gus Frerotte will go on, and the change will be good for them. You know, maybe they're in a system that they understand and they can operate in efficiently. The opportunities can be presented. You just have to capitalize on it.
When Frerotte first got the chance to play, I thought he was the best young quarterback I ever saw at going to second and third receivers. He had a tremendous ability to read defense. They'll whistle this play dead with 5:09 to go in the game.
Now this is
Neutral zone infraction on the defense. 5 yards. Repeat second down.
Coming up next, Sports Center. Dan Patrick and Kenny Mayne, and we all remember where we were on Dan's 2000th broadcast. Their top stories, the NFL playoff picture, an upset in college basketball, in our conversation with Chan Gailey. That's followed by NFL primetime. Chris Berman and Tom Jackson with all the highlights of all the day's games.
Well, we've seen that poster of old school with both John and myself there. Russ Grimm, the offensive line coach, is one of the old school guys, and he's had to work with a lot of different combinations up front.
That's old tough school. Green hit as he throws. And it falls harmlessly in the middle of 3 Dallas Cowboys. Greg Ellis was putting the pressure on.
You know, this is the Redskins coaching staff, and I said it to North yesterday. I said, it's like all you guys are sitting in limbo. They have no idea what's going to happen.
No, but I do believe that. I believe that they have decided that the ownership issue in Washington will be decided before the Super Bowl. So the Redskins will have a direction. San Francisco, of course, is still up in the air as to what direction and what's going on out there.
The feeling is if John Kent Cook retains control of the Washington Redskins, that North Turner has saved his job by the way his team has played in the second half of the season. And I think that would be a fair evaluation to make. All bets are off if a new owner comes in, because very often the new owner wants to bring in his people.
And the guy that really is the wild card that sets everything in motion is Mike Holmgren. What is Mike Holmgren going to do? What does Mike want to do? I think everybody will wait and see what happens after that.
Whatever he wants to do.
That's going to be it.
Of course, John Kent Cook's father's name is Jack Kent Cook is on the stadium. He said, if I lose it, let some other SOB try to take it off. Mitchell wants to throw the halfback pass. Intended for Alexander, incomplete. Flag is down. George Teague with great coverage. That might be offensive interference, and Alexander is hurt.
You know, Alexander gets caught at the line of scrimmage. He got knocked down, and that's what took so long on this play for Mitchell to throw it. Alexander was on the ground, had to get back up.
There is no penalty on the play. Pass is incomplete. First down, Dallas.
I think that's a great call because George Teague had perfect position on it.
Here comes the pass. George is looking back, doing a nice job. Okay, now here's my question, guys. I totally agree with the result of the call. What did he see to make him throw the flag? I guess that's the question that I have to see. There's no contact. George is looking back. Steven reaches over and gets his hand on the ball.
Offensively or defensively, there was nothing wrong with the play.
Alexander, one of the bright young stars of the Redskins, shaken up. And it looks like the Cowboys, when Alexander is finally able to make his way off the field in the control of the trainer Bubba Tyre, the Dallas Cowboys will have a new quarterback in Mike Quinn.
With Jamie Asher as their tight end in the beginning of the season, Steven Alexander really didn't know what his role was going to be. But as the season went on, he grew more and more comfortable, became a bigger part of Trent Green's repertoire to throw the football to.
You know, every place we go, someone's smart enough to get on camera by saying SportsCenter's next. Every stadium we've been in.
Another big guy, Mike Quinn.
Out of Stephen F. Austin. He has played sparingly this year, has not thrown a pass, but he's run 4 times. Yes, it is. Williams still the running back. He'll get the carry. Straight up the middle across midfield to the Redskins 48-yard line. Clock working down toward 4 minutes. Only one team has finished the season with fewer turnovers than games played. The 90 Giants. Right now, the Cowboys 15 in 16 games. That's pretty good.
You know what that does? That keeps you in games. It gives you a chance to play 60 minutes of football, and your defense can win it at the end. Your offense can make a play. Your kicker can make a play. So many options are open to you. You can stay in a game.
Williams, and that's a first down for the Cowboys.
I like that. 8-0, first team ever to go 8-0 in the NFC East.
Against an admittedly weak division, the weakest in football, but 8-0 nonetheless.
Yes. That's a tremendous accomplishment. You know, and then taking this team into the playoffs, because there was an awful lot of concern about the offense of this football team and the defense.
I still think there has to be a concern without Dion going into the playoffs. I mean, they're going to have other people make plays for him.
And as much as people criticize the weakness of the NFC East, keep in mind that Chan Gailey took over a team that last year was 6-10 against the same teams and turned them around to 10-6 and won the division. He has certainly made a difference in this organization. He is a very disciplined man who demands discipline from his players, and he's gotten it.
I love what he said. We're talking about Michael Irvin catching 72 balls going in, only 1 touchdown. I love what he said.
So?
That'll happen.
That happens. That happens. That'll happen. It did.
It did happen.
And he's not in the least concerned about
No.
it. And amazingly, neither is Michael Irvin. He has really taken to this well. Players want to win. I think that's the bottom line, especially after you've been in the league a while. We have reached the 2-minute warning here at Texas Stadium in Irving. The Cowboys on their way to their 10th win. Cowboys up 23-7. You need 2 tickets for Miami? Well, you can certainly get tickets for Dallas here next week. They are not sold out yet, and Jerry Jones, who has control of everything for the Dallas Cowboys, will be having some playoff tickets on sale.
All he has to do is go to the airport, get 2 tickets over there.
Get
Not
more than
those
2
tickets.
Get all you want.
They would love to have Dion back, but they don't know. A dislocated big toe, and sometimes those things last a long time.
I told him he ought to call Reggie White. Remember, I mean, Reggie,
Yes.
we saw him last year when he had that hamstring problem and came back in a phenomenal way.
Williams driven out of bounds inside the 30. I think you're missing the point. Reggie White didn't do it.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
He needs to make a
But
call
he
to
needs-
somebody else.
He needs to call Reggie to get the proper connection so that it can get done. That's what I'm saying.
It's an unlisted number.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the playoff picture. The AFC setup. Buffalo against Miami. That will be at Saturday at 12:30. Sunday at 12:35. New England at Jacksonville. The wild card in the NFC. Arizona at Dallas. We'll be here for that one. Green Bay at San Francisco. That is the Sunday game in the NFC. Williams again, who has had a big night in that time, ran right into Dan Wilkinson and bounced backwards.
Dan Wilkinson ended up in the hole, and Jeremy Williams hit him right in the stomach. I mean, this is just a great play. He beats Tony Hudson. Watch Dan Wilkinson. Watch him. He gets hit right. Boom. Didn't even tackle him.
Bounced right off the front porch.
Well, last time these 2 teams played earlier in the year, the Cowboys had each of their backs go over 100 yards rushing. Emmitt Smith didn't quite get there tonight, but certainly got close.
Paul, have you had your 45?
Yes, I have. And he also saw my name wrong.
It's the mention that counts.
No, that's why I didn't mention it.
Williams down to the 25-yard line.
You're very sensitive about that.
I'll tell you, my mother was very sensitive. She wouldn't talk to anyone that didn't spell my name right in the paper.
Is that a promise?
Why you gonna spell my name wrong?
I get you one before the year runs out.
Well, there needs to be Sports Centers. It's not
Sports
plural.
Center next.
Yes, it is. In only 35 seconds. Dallas will kill the clock and continue their domination of their arch rival, the Washington Redskins. They'll win it tonight 23-7, and they will go into the playoffs on an up note, Joe.
They will, and they've got to feel good about what they've accomplished tonight. Chan Gailey basically got from his football team what he wanted to. North Turner, on the other hand, did not see the fire that he had in his football team the last 8 weeks.
And Troy Aikman said it best yesterday. He said, we've got to do better offensively, and they did.
Our final score, Dallas 23, Washington 7. Coming up next, Sports Center. Dan Patrick and Kenny Mayne with a complete wrap-up of the day in sports. For Joe Theismann, Paul McGuire, Solomon Wilcox, and our entire ESPN crew, this is Mike Patrick. Good night from Irving, Texas. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.
ESPN thanks you for watching this presentation of the National Football League.
Home team's Fox attitude. You're watching Fox Sports Southwest.
This is the Cowboys postgame show. The Cowboys postgame show is brought to you by AT&T, Bank One, the Dr. Pepper Bottling Company of Texas, Whataburger, building better tasting burgers one at a time, and by Hager Black Label.
Welcome to the Dallas Cowboys postgame show as the Cowboys beat the Redskins 23-7. They finished 8-0 in division. They finished the season 10-6. I'm Michael Ray, just outside the Cowboy locker room, but right now we want to quickly check in with Chan Gailey's postgame media conference.
Went out tonight and did a good job against them. Held the running game down, which was important for us. And then we made some big plays on offense, which is something we hadn't done a lot of in the last few weeks. And so if you can make some big plays, and you got a chance to put some points on the board, and that's what we did. I thought Emmitt ran exceptionally well. I was really happy for him in getting the record. I'm really impressed with the way our players had determination tonight to get this thing back where it needed to be.
Now that it's done, how much does going undefeated in the East mean to your team since you've been in the locker room after this thing?
Well, I think everybody wanted to do it, and but it wasn't like that was, the only thing in our mind this week. There were other things that were involved there, and understanding that we were eventually going to go into the playoffs, and we were trying to, make sure we were healthy enough to do that. But I think the feeling in the locker room was that they're very, very happy about that. Nobody else has ever done that, and nobody else will ever be the first to do that.
Chan, is this the way you play tonight? Is that the way you need to play in the playoffs?
It sure is. The first half, that's the way we need to. We need to make sure we stop the run and make some big plays on offense. Our third down conversion's still not where it needs to be, but we'll continue to work on that and get better at that, I think.
Chan, what was the biggest improvement you saw from last week to this week?
Well, I thought overall that I would say our passing game execution is where we made the biggest jump in 1 week's time. We made some big plays on offense and barely missed 2 or 3 other big plays that I think we'll make as time goes on. So that's where I thought the biggest jump was tonight.
Obviously, on offense,
yes.
You were satisfied at halftime. You got the guys out. Were the players satisfied with what they had done offensively in the first half?
Well, I don't know. You'll have to ask them because it wasn't up for a vote.
So you had a few of the Milne mistakes, the penalties, the motion penalties this week also.
Excuse me?
You think the team was concentrating a little better?
Yeah, we had fewer. We had some, we had some in the red zone, which kept us from scoring a couple of touchdowns down there, and that's upsetting. But yeah, we did better in that department, and that's what we'll have to do. You have to avoid bad plays and then make some big plays.
Was there a sense that this team needed to play this well on both sides of the ball heading into next week to regain some confidence?
I think we wanted to, you can do it. This could have happened next week, and and it would have been okay. But you would like for it to have been this way, and then you hope it carries over, because it doesn't matter how you played this week. You got to go out and build on this and get ready for next week. How you played this week right now has really no bearing on next Saturday afternoon.
What's been the difference in your running game this
Those are the thoughts of head coach Chan Gailey, who did admit that it was important to him to go 8-0 in division. I know it was to you, Jerry Jones. We're joined by Brad Sham and Jerry Jones. I know that you said pregame that 8-0 was important to you. You've done it, and how does it feel?
Well, it's very special because over the last 10 years, and it's been 10 years that I've gotten a chance to be a part of the team and compete. I know the competition, the level of competition. People talk about the East being down. As a group, it may be, but it's still something very special to have swept it. And we just didn't do that. Obviously, we didn't do it in the Super Bowl years, but we didn't even come close to doing it in those Super Bowl years.
10-6. I know
maybe
that
this is a Super Bowl year. Somebody,
I was going to
Brad
say.
just punched me real good.
You never know. 10-6. I know 10 wins was another important thing. As you said, you wanted to go and not let the division down, so to speak.
Unquestionably, we would have been the first team to have won the division without 10 wins too. So that would have been quite a something we wouldn't want as well. But I think more important than all of it put together is the upbeat way that we're going into the playoffs now.
Right.
And I think that our defense gained some confidence out there tonight. I know our offense did. And it's true, get 2 or 3 plays here that we didn't get in the other games, and all of a sudden you can get on a roll.
Well, I was just going to ask you about that because, I mean, all that other stuff is nice, but you're playing to do well in the playoffs, and you really needed to play well going in there. I mean, there's just an entirely different feeling in this building than there was 3.5, 4 hours ago, don't you think?
It's just amazing what some offensive production will do, and I know we talk about the early part of the year when we were feeling so good about our team. What's amazing, though, is just how close it is and how 3 or 4 plays, if you hit on those, can make the difference in scoring 30 points in a ball game. But we did that tonight, made some big plays. Michael Irvin came through with that big catch, Aikman with that great throw, and of course I think that sparked us. That one play really sparked us.
Now, you still have a few tickets left for the playoffs. I don't imagine those will last very long, though.
Well, I hope that our fans realize that you don't get many of these playoff games at home, even if it is a wild card playoff game, and we appreciate the support. We're renowned throughout the NFL as having the finest support, being the greatest football town, and I believe that very much. We've got a team that has fought. We've had a lot of injuries. A lot of teams have. But I don't know that anybody that has lost their quarterback for half the season, plus lost a player like Deion Sanders for 5 or 6 games, that has fought back and is in good shape as we are.
It's important to note as well, that's a Saturday playoff game, Saturday at 3, so adjust your schedules accordingly. Thank you, Jerry Jones. Thank you. We'll be back in just a moment when Dallas Cowboys football continues in a moment.
14, first down. 2 receivers right, handoff. Smith weaves his way through the middle to the 5. 9-yard gain behind Newton. 9-yard gain behind Newton.
Sports Southwest.
And Aikman straight drop. Good protection. Out to the right sideline. Caught for a first down. Stepping out of bounds up at around the 31-yard line, Billy Davis.
Welcome back to Texas Stadium, the Cowboys' victorious locker room. I'm Brad Sham with Michael Ray, and we're joined by Cowboys defensive tackle Chad Hennings. Had a big fumble recovery, a key play in the game. Congratulations on the win, on the season, and I'd like you to talk a little bit about the defensive effort out there tonight. A team that allegedly had no reason for which to play hard, looked like it played awfully hard. Talk about that.
Well, they coming into the game, our first goal was always to stop the run. And Washington is always known for some unusual sets, some unusual shifts, which you saw quite a bit. And we were very well prepared, and they were also known for the last several ball games, so that once they got inside the 20 in the red zone, that they're going to put points on the board. They're going to put touchdowns up. And that was one thing we've worked on, and we've kind of prided ourselves all year long is to not allowing opponents to score touchdowns once they get into the red zone. And I think we did our job today. And we were out there with a lot of backup guys playing in the second half and part of the first half, and I tip my hat to them. They played well and they held them.
I want to rely on some of the analysis of John Giesick, former Cowboy player. He's with KVIL pregame show. He thought pregame that you were certainly a candidate for most valuable player on the Cowboy defense, because he said, look, think of it. A 6'6" guy gets in there, gets locked up on blockers, and you're constantly having your legs chopped at. Talk about the transition to nose tackle. I know you've done it all year, but it has been a different year for you. You didn't get as much glory this year, but obviously got the job done.
I was very perceptive of John Giesick. He was a very good, close friend of mine, at Cup LA's Hardware, John Giesick. But he, it hasn't really been a difficult transition for me to the nose guard position, because I think my physical attributes and my skills, I'm more of a lateral player anyway, reading, because that's basically what I did in college, as opposed to what we've done in the past with, like Leon getting off the ball. And we needed to do something for the team to stop the run, which bothered us last year with a lot of the lead weeks that we were getting quite a bit. And we've done that this year, and it's fared fairly well. And anything for the team.
Congratulations on the win, and good luck against the Cardinals Saturday.
Thank you, Brad.
Chad Hennings. We'll let Chad go, and we'll bring in now a man for whom I know there is great meaning in being the first team to sweep unbeaten through the NFC East, because Darrell Johnston and I had this conversation several years ago when your team got to the lip of the cup and it didn't quite happen. And you were mad then, as I recall, that maybe everybody didn't take as seriously as you and a few others thought they should have the chance to do that. Because of that, tell me what this means to you.
I think this is a great accomplishment by this team. And you look at the teams that have come through the NFC East in the past just 10, 12 years, when the Giants had their run, the Redskins, and then ourselves in the early 90s, and none of us were able to go through undefeated. And the Giants made it last year at 7-0-1 without losing, but we've passed them with an 8-0 record within the division. And I think it's a great accomplishment. But I can understand the fact that in '94, you couldn't improve your position, kind of similar to what we did today, but we hadn't been playing well the last few weeks, and I think it was important for us to go into the playoffs on a positive note. So I think we accomplished that tonight. But yeah, I'm really glad that we were able to accomplish this. I think it's something that everybody can take a lot of pride in.
I want you to talk about that for a minute, because the last few weeks offensively were not good. Tremendous effort and results tonight based on the last 2 or 3 weeks. Where'd that come from?
We had some guys making plays out there tonight. Michael has a big catch. Billy Davis, a couple big catches coming off, not our goal line, but deep in our end to get us out towards midfield. Emmitt has a run that could be one of the greatest runs that he's had since he's been here. Just amazing. And that's what we hadn't had. And once you have guys start making plays, I think the enthusiasm on the sideline picks up, the enthusiasm on the field picks up, and the enthusiasm in the stands picks up. And we feed off of that. So if you're not making plays, there's nothing to get excited about. And people have tended to say that we've been flat or non-emotional the last few games, and I think that was a difference tonight.
Speaking of Emmitt setting the touchdown record and then going at one better tonight, aside from Emmitt, nobody has a bigger part in that than Darrell Johnston.
He came up to me after the first one and said something really special to me. So
share.
He just said, I couldn't have done it without you. You're a big part of this accomplishment. So that means a lot to me. But there's a lot of guys involved in that. But I think we've still got a lot of work left to do. I think Barry Sanders is closing in on us. So we'd like to put a little bit more distance between ourselves and him. But it's great to be associated with this, and I take a lot of pride in it. I don't get the opportunity to do a lot of things and contribute to the team from a statistical standpoint. So this is something special for me.
Darrell Johnston, who once I thanked him for coming on after a particularly difficult loss. He said, "I know that if I'm on the show, we've either lost or I've scored 3 touchdowns. Tonight, neither. So thank you for being on the show."
This is a first. I've never scored 3 touchdowns, and I'm still on, and we won the game. So.
Congratulations, Darrell. We appreciate it. Darrell Johnston, and now we're going to bring in a man who clearly would be the defensive star of this game. And Darrell just talked about how the Cowboys needed people to make plays. Well, Randall Godfrey made plays all over the place tonight, caused a fumble, the prettiest interception I've ever seen a linebacker make, and set up a sack. And congratulations on your game. I want you to just talk about the interception first. Talk us through that play and relive it in all its glory for several thousand well-chosen words, because that was a heck of a play.
Well, I tell you what, that's something we practice. It's called a wheel route, and the tight end took me to the flats at first, and he just went up with it. And we practice it every day. And, I was just in the right spot at the right time, and I just jumped for the ball.
You didn't think it was a tie ball, and maybe they'd give it to him?
I thought they were going to give it to him, because he stripped me at the end. He did strip it, but I did have possession when I came down. Then he stripped it from me. But it was just a play.
Like Brad said, you had about the day you can have as a defensive player. You flushed Green, caused a sack, you caused a fumble. You had a fumble that was taken back from you. That was a fumble recovery and the interception. This is a type of game where you're not expected to do that. You guys were expected to kind of go out, work some kinks out, and go to the sideline, right?
Well, I tell you, a lot of people thought we were just going to come out and just lay down and not play the way we're capable of playing. But we made our decision to come out. We wanted to sweep the division, and that was our goal. And the coaches prepared us well all week, and that's the thing. And I compliment the team on the effort we gave, and and the way we continue to play.
But you seem to have been more vocal in the past couple of weeks trying to fire up this defense, and I guess you took a leadership role as well tonight.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I got to step forward and play the way I'm capable of playing. I mean, I started off playing well early in the year, then I kind of leveled off, and I got to get back to that point where I'm making plays all over the field and just being a dominant player like I'm capable of being. And I tell you what, it was a total defensive effort tonight. The guys, the front line played well, the secondary played well, and of course the offense moved the ball. We scored some points, and that's what it's going to take to be successful.
Would it be fair to say that there are a lot of you defensively who will be able to get excited about playing Arizona again in the playoffs?
Definitely so. This is a new season here. I mean, we're going to be up for Saturday, and we're going to have a good week of practice this week, and hopefully we be ready for them, man. It's going to be a tough game. Jake the Snake is a good scrambler, just like the guy was tonight, so we're going to have to be prepared for him.
Great game from Randall Godfrey. Randall, thank you. We appreciate it. We'll be back at Texas Stadium when Dallas Cowboys football continues in a moment. 17. They bring a man in motion. Green 3 steps, throws right. Ball's tipped at the line of scrimmage. I think Greg Ellis got it again. What's he got, like 4 this year?
Well, he has.
Trent Green back and sets up. Has time. Throws it down the right side. The ball's up in the air. It is. It's a tie ball. Who's got it? Intercepted in the end zone by Randall Godfrey. Welcome back to Texas Stadium. Brad Sham along with Michael Ray. The Cowboys with the big win over the Washington Redskins tonight to be 10-6, move into the playoffs. In a moment, we're going to visit with the star of the game, Emmitt Smith, and Darryl Johnston said it a minute ago. We talked about it during the game, Mike. That second touchdown of his, well, that's about as good as anything we've ever seen from him, and we've seen some pretty nifty stuff from him.
Yeah, I mean, he really just seemed to see that end zone about 20 yards out. It was like the proverbial horse heading for the barn because he just found it and bowled himself in. I think Michael Irvin even kind of helped him a little bit at the end there.
Amazing. Yes, he even got some wide receiver blocking going on. And I think that with all of the injuries that the Cowboys have had in their offense, that the coaching staff has made a point of saying to the star players, you guys have got to carry us because we can't rely on everybody as much as we'd like. We can't spread the load as much as we'd like. You know, I thought that the quarterback did that, the running back did that, the wide receiver made some plays tonight that he either hasn't been able to make or hasn't had the opportunity to make. Boy, they've got to have that kind of thing.
In the offensive line, they took so much heat mid-season on picking up the blitz, and we've heard a lot about that. Tonight they did a nice job. They protected Troy Aikman when he was in there. Jason got pretty good protection, and they opened up some running lanes, obviously, as evidenced by Emmitt Smith.
We're going to have Emmitt coming out of the training room momentarily. We'll be visiting with him, and we'll also be discussing some of the highlights of this game right after we come back when Dallas Cowboys football continues. 43, a minute 46, and 2 timeouts. Aikman straight drop, max protection. Oh, a great block from Eric Williams. He rolls right, deep throw down the side for Jeffers. Sliding catch. Did he get it at the 12-yard line? Holy cow.
Players interviewed on the postgame show received the following gifts. $100 gift certificates from Del Frisco's Double Eagle Steakhouse. For great steaks and magnificent lobsters, visit Del Frisco's in downtown Fort Worth or Spring Valley at the Tollway in Dallas. Guests also receive a 100-minute calling card from Caprock Communications, Texas's leading long-distance company. Caprock goes beyond. From Texas Tickets, $100 gift certificates good towards an upcoming concert or special event. If it takes a ticket, call Texas Tickets. Players also receive an Alien 2 Pro Series wedge or another of the superior golf clubs from Alien Sport. Golf clubs made for the way you want to play. Call 1-800-989-GOLF. And now we continue with more of the Cowboys postgame show.
Welcome back to Texas Stadium. Cowboys 23, Redskins 7. Brad Sham with Michael Ray and our star of the game, Emmitt Smith. There have been so many historic moments that Cowboy fans have shared with Emmitt Smith, and this was another one tonight, breaking the all-time rushing touchdown record in an important December game that your team won. Congratulations. You have this record in your pocket now. What does this one mean to you?
Well, I mean, it means a lot because throughout 9 years, there's been many people ahead of me, and to be at the top of this list, it means a lot. And you know, I think it's even greater because of the fact the way we played tonight, and we ended up winning the ball game too as well. So it's one that I can definitely say I'm proud of, because it's just me now.
Would you mind taking us through the second touchdown run? At what point did you think, hey, I might be able to get this to the house?
Once I got inside and was able to bounce back outside to see Billy Davis actually make the block that sprung me open, I felt like I had a good chance of getting it in the end zone. Got down there, saw Darryl Green and Michael Irvin, bouncing to Michael Irvin, and that was it. It was just a matter of just maintaining my balance and reaching for the goal line and getting it in.
Emmitt, you know what a playoff team feels like. You're going into the playoffs now. How does this team feel to you?
I think our team is just as good as any team in the playoff. We have to play like it, and we have to go out there and show it on a week-to-week basis. And it starts this weekend, and we go out there this weekend or Saturday and play like we did tonight, and if not play even better than what we did tonight, I think we can beat anybody. And so I feel very good about our team and our chances of being in the tournament.
Congratulations again, and thanks for the continuing list of memories. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Emmitt Smith, we'll be back with more when Dallas Cowboys football continues in a moment.
Well, Brad, it's so exciting. You're back this year, and we're going back to the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a direct correlation. Yeah.
I think there's some connection there.
It's fun to see the Cowboys play well. If you're a Cowboy fan like they did tonight, and be ready for their wild card playoff game, we hope you'll be with us next Saturday afternoon when the Cowboys meet the Cardinals right here at Texas Stadium.
The Cowboys postgame show was brought to you by Kroger, Nike, by Pepsi, Whataburger, building better tasting burgers one at a time, and by the Quality Care Network.